teams do that, and I could see Sierra doing that. But it also makes me nervous when I see so that stretch you just showed, they played 6 straight league matches with no cup in between. I mean, or not no cup, sorry, no Copa Libertadores in between, and I mean, I guess they didn't play awful. They didn't have a loss in that span, but again, they're not scoring goals. So maybe the under is the way to look. Maybe the strongest to keep a clean sheet could come out as a 0-0 draw. Who knows? Could be a very defensive match. But yeah, that was the only one I was really looking at for the Sudamericana.
All right, so Copa Libertadores, I think we had a little bit of a technical malfunction here. So we're going to just go back over the Tuesday games. We talked about Atletico Mineiro in the Tuesday Copa Libertadores game at minus 125. The over 1.5 goals at minus 104, and maybe even them to win in the first half. You see the half odds. The half odds are plus 138. That's Copa Libertadores against Emelec on Tuesday night, 6:15. Tuesday, 8:30. We talked about Paranense. I think Paranense money line. What did we talk about there?
We said lean to Paranense, and also maybe the over 1.5 on their team total at the plus money, just because they've been playing well and scoring lately.
And did you like anything in that Corinthians? The Corinthians Boca Juniors tomorrow night at 8:30. That's a tough game for me.
Yeah, so I liked Corinthians in this one.
Okay, at plus 128.
Yeah, this is one I was on Corinthians. So this is another one where these two faced each other in the group stage. And the Corinthians won their home match against Boca Juniors, and they tied on the road 1-1. So Boca Juniors they're not getting any anything done against this Corinthians team. If you look at Corinthians, they're second in the league right now, and at home, just in their domestic league of Brazil, they've played 7 matches. They've only scored 9 goals, but they've allowed 2 goals at home in those 7 matches.
Yeah.
So they are playing so well right now. If you look at their they're coming off a draw to Santos this weekend, which who knows if they were fully trying for that one, that they were at home. But again, 0-0 draw, that seems like that would have been probably just a defensive, let's just get some points here.
There's some weird results in the weekend too. It's just really kind of a strange.
Yeah, didn't Palmeiras tie with a VI?
Palmeiras tied with a VI. Juventus 0-0. I mean, it's just it's just a lot of weird. I think some of these teams are just getting gassed a little bit. They're playing so many games here,
and this is why we stayed off the weekend, because I think so that was when, again, Corinthians probably was resting up for this match here against the Boca Juniors. They've already beaten them in the group stage. Now that it really matters, I don't see why they wouldn't win again at home. Look at their last couple home matches: 0-0, 4-0, 1-0, 2-0. They've also played 4 of their last 5 at home, so they've had 0 travel, really. They've just been sitting and waiting here for this match. So I like that situation. I mean, I
think it's interesting. This is the second kind of matchup where these teams have played in the group stage, and then they're playing, because in the Champions League and the Europa League, you're group protected. That first, you can't play anybody from your own country, and you can't play anybody from your own group in the round of 16. In the round of 8 and on, you could, obviously you can, but here you can't. So, but in this competition, they have these two teams just played, August or April 26th. Corinthians won 2-0 at home. May 17th, 1-1, and that was with a red card. Corinthians got a red card and still got a result. So, Corinthians here obviously comes in with a little bit of confidence, I would think, in this game.
Yeah, and like Boca Juniors, they're coming off a loss. They've lost 2 of their last 4. They're not playing awful, but Corinthians is just in better form. They're scoring more goals. And if you even look at like the group stage of this last round, so the Corinthians were they were 2-1-0 when they played at home. They only had 2 wins. They finished 2-3-1 overall in that group, but both the wins came at home. No losses at home. And the other thing is Boca, they got a win on the road, but 2 of their losses came on the road as well. One was to the Corinthians. And Boca also had 2 wins and 1 draw at home. Who was that 1 draw at home? To Corinthians. So I think this is just a matter of the Corinthians are going to be feeling good. They know that this team hasn't gotten a win on them after 2 matches in the last month playing them, and they're just in better form. They're scoring goals right now. They've been at home. I think everything points to Corinthians, and you're getting a plus money on them, which I'm shocked it's not something like minus 110, but that's okay. I'll take advantage.
Close to plus 130 here, and it's the 8:30 game on tomorrow night on Eastern time, 8:30 Eastern time. Yeah, I mean, and with a win over them, the over/under is crazy in this game, 1.5. So obviously they're expected to be low scoring.
Now watch, it's going to be minus 110 by the end of the show. Now,
yeah, hey, listen, we move lines on this show. We move lines. When we start talking about South American football, all of a sudden these games move. It's really crazy. The bookmakers must be listening to us a little bit, but
and you know what else is interesting? I was watching that Salt Lake line that was minus 120 for the longest time.
Yes,
and it moved to 180 right, but like it wasn't right before kickoff, but somewhere I wasn't even paying attention to the line or exactly, so I can't tell you exactly when, but sometime on that Saturday, that line shot up from 120 to 190. I don't know what that was about, but
I'm 100% like look, I don't have enough of a God complex to say that it's because of like me or us or whatever doing this, but I do know like some of these smaller leagues and some of these smaller things. If somebody says, watches the show and says, hey, they're talking about this game, jump on this, and then they tell a couple friends, and all of a sudden, like, I don't know, 20, 30 people come in and bet this game. Maybe that's enough to move the line a little bit with some of these books. Like, it's kind of for my birthday one year, we were in Saratoga Springs for the Saratoga meet, but they have the harness track there. And we went and we're sitting there watching there's about, probably 12 people at the track betting it. And, we threw like $20 on some like long shot, and it was odds went from like 78 to 1 to like 30 to 1 in like 2 minutes. And then all of a sudden you're like, whoa. And then like somebody else bet them, and now it's down to like 15 to 1. So it doesn't take a lot to move these games sometimes.
Yeah, especially when they know nothing about the games, probably. Like there's no way some of these books have guys that are watching Turkish soccer and leagues like that. Like there's just no way. It's too much.
Yeah, Bill, we talked, we had a little malfunction. I think our broadcast started and I don't know what happened. It stopped. So I just restarted it or whatever. So that's why it's only on here like 10 minutes. But we talked about that a little bit. The Malmo didn't cover the 2 goals. Yeah, they just about won. They scored in like they scored in injury time to win the game, playing against a bad team. It's just I struggle to find some games sometimes. Like I want to just pick like baseball games or Korean baseball or something like plus money picks here. But
there's a lot of value in the Korean league, man. These bullpens are garbage. I've seen teams come back from 7-1, and it's a common thing in the Korean league too. Like it's not even funny how many times I'm watching one of my parlays, and it's like I got 2 teams that are up 5-1, and before I even know it, it's 5-5, and I'm like, what?
It's crazy. I think, basically like what I've been saying on the free videos is, I'm a little bit more versed in the Premier League and some of these other leagues. And I'm just excited for these leagues to start getting back and the Champions League. Like next week is the Champions League, the first round. And you're going to start to see some of these teams. There's some pretty decent teams in these first round games. Let me see if they have them up yet.
No more betting on Reykjavik.
Oh man, it's so bad. CFR Cluj is playing. I don't even know.
They're always there. They're in the Champions League.
They come through. Like they start in this first round as league champions or wherever they finish in the league, and they go all the way through a lot of times. And you see like Malmo's playing that Vikinger team who stinks. So like, I know Lincoln Red Imps who made it into Europe for the first time ever. They're playing. They don't get a lot of thing, but Ludogorets, Razgrad. These are Lech Poznan against Karabag. These are some pretty good teams playing next week, and then July 6th you got Ferencváros, who's always in either the
top of Hungary, man, top of Hungary.
They're always in the Champions League and the Europa League, and look, man, Ferencváros is minus 132 right now against Tobol Kastanye. This Ferencváros team is pretty good. The thing that worries me sometimes about these teams that come out of nowhere, you see like Tobol Kastanye, you don't see them too often. But like, if they won their league or they played well all of a sudden, maybe they're putting some money into obviously Bodo Glimt there. You see them minus 1667. The word's out about Bodo Glimt.
Yeah, they were out of nowhere last year, and all of a sudden,
and they made the quarterfinals of a European competition, and they beat Roma 6-2. You beat Roma 6-2, and Roma ended up winning the tournament. Obviously Roma went with their backups to the North Pole, but Dudelange, Tirana, Sheriff Tiraspol, who just beat Real Madrid 2 years ago. These are some
Shakhtar Donetsk too when they were good.
Slovan Bratislava is a good team. These are some good teams coming in. So like, maybe you don't know the names. He won big on Kosovo and Japan women international friendlies. All right, there you go. I don't know. There's a lot of, we're going to have to maybe start looking at that, Bill, because there's a lot of women's tournaments coming up. I'm going to see if I can try to get maybe like a women's football expert on, because there is like, there's the UEFA, see international friendly matches. I don't know if they have them listed here, but there's a lot of women's tournaments coming up in the summer here. So maybe, I'm not super versed in it, but I know like you can make some money on it.
Yeah, I don't know my women's soccer too well, but hey, you got to play for me. I'll bet it. Probably not a friendly, but yeah, definitely there's some value there. There's some really good teams with these women's teams. Like they are unbelievably good too. I like the women's soccer too, because it's not the same as the men's teams that are like the good ones. Like for a lot of these years, Canada and the USA had the best women's team on the planet, along with like Japan and these other teams you wouldn't see that often in a World Cup final. So I do enjoy that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I once again, I mean, there's always some, you can find an edge in some of these games. With the friendlies, sometimes maybe somebody's playing to get ready for the Euros or whatever it is. So I think that's pretty interesting. So, Wednesday night in the Copa Libertadores, there's 4 matches. There's 2 at 6:15 and there's 2 at 8:15. You got Cerro Porteño against Palmeiras. Palmeiras on the road as a minus money favorite. Talleres and Colón de Santa Fe. Tolima against Flamengo, another team from Brazil. And Vélez Sarsfield against River Plate. Obviously, River Plate, very good. And Bill talking about there's some mismatches you can make money on. I think, Bill, when we're talking about these Champions League games, when we start talking about them next week, the Tuesday, Wednesday games, that's what we're going to try to go after, the mismatches, and all through the first round, the second round, because in second round, better teams start coming in. Third round, better teams start coming in. You got some, big boy teams coming in, and they're playing some of these minnow teams, and they just absolutely demolish them. There's actually, I think just the strategy. I've talked about this a few times. I think the strategy sometimes in the Copa Libertadores group stages, because we've been going through this for like the last month and a half since the show started, and then the Champions League. There's these games. when Real Madrid's playing the fourth place team in the group, and then and they the best is when they come in week match day 3 and 4 because they beat them whatever like 2-0 on the road, and you're like, man, they're gonna kill them at home, and they end up smoking them like 6-0 at home, and you get those back-to-back games. I think you can find those mismatches in these games when it starts to get to these round of 16 games like we're looking at today. These teams all finish first or second in their group, and they're all, pretty decent. So, and then as the tournament goes on, it gets harder and harder to basically find like value in some of these games. But so you got to try to find it now. I'm sure you're looking at this Palmeiras game here against Cerro Porteño.
You know what? I was looking at it, but I don't think I have a play on it. It's just definitely coming off that draw with Avai and the cup loss to Sao Paulo. Palmeiras is going to come out in this one for sure. Like I highly doubt that the cup match, they were definitely playing nobody in, and then Avai on the road there. They probably weren't trying as hard. I'm not sure if they rested players in that one, but it's tough because the line where it's at right now, it's right at a point where you don't want to lay that much with them.
Yeah, I wouldn't lay. They went through the group stage unbeaten, 6-0, and they outscored the teams 25-3. So, I would say I think it's minus 139 or minus 140. I would put them in a parlay, but even it's not even, to me, it's not even worth maybe putting them in a parlay because it's just. I mean, it could be, but I think maybe Palmeiras over 1.5 goals minus 107 might be a better play. But this is a tough game, I think.
Yeah, and the thing that bothers me about them is not even the fact that so they tied and they lost their last 2 matches, but they weren't really trying for those. It's the fact that they're on the end of a really long road stretch here.
Yes.
And so like they could be resting players and coming out for this match, but they still got to travel to a whole other country for this. And that's man, it's wear and tear. You don't know what these guys are feeling.
They just played a stretch where they played June 5th, June 9th, June 12th, June 16th, June 20th, June 23rd, June
every 3 days.
So they played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games in 3 weeks. And then they got three, another 3 days off here, and they're playing. So. They're probably the better team, but they might be a little bit gassed here. You might be right. I think maybe.
And this is when I could see maybe they try to come out and win, but if Portino is really strong on the defensive side, they might just say, okay, we'll take a draw and we'll get him in the second leg at home.
Yeah, if Portino comes out and scores early or something like that, they could be happy with a 1-1 draw because they know they're going to get him back at home. So, yeah, that's always, I think that has to be something that goes into this a little bit where you say, Bill wants to know, by the way, if we do any tennis betting.
All the time. I don't give out plays, but I bet it all the time.
Okay, yeah, there. All right, so we might have to talk a little tennis here. I think, it's almost like when you were saying you wanted to watch some of those games on the weekend for the midweek. Now maybe some of these I want to see the first leg, how it plays out, maybe for the second leg too, because there's 8 matches. So, you don't have to bet every one, but, you might be able to kind of see how that plays out. If it's a draw or whatever, then you can go Palmeiras in the second leg. Did you like any of those other 3 games in those on Wednesday night?
Yeah, there was one. But going back to what you said just about the looking ahead thing, I find with these 2-leg matches, they're tough in that sense where it's half handicapping, but it's also half speculation because you got to try and get in their heads and think, okay, is this team going to be better? Are they able to come out on the road here and get a win? Or are they going to try to draw it out, come back stronger in the second leg at home? Or as I said with Atletico Mineiro, I thought maybe they would come out strong in this one just because of the situation and then try to coast it at home in the next one. So it's half handicapping, and then again you got to try and get that last inch with speculation just to see where things are.
Yeah, I agree. Yep, it's interesting. Yeah, it's I'm thinking you're looking either at this Flamengo game or the River Plate game.
Yeah, you're definitely right. It's the Flamengo.
Yeah.
I love Flamengo a lot. I've been following them for years, but I'm fading them hard in this one.
Oh, against Tolima, huh?
Yeah, I think you can find some value on the plus the half for Tolima because again, this is one that I think if you look at the form, Tolima's been in really good form, and Flamengo has not been at all. They've lost, I think, like 4 of their last 5 or something like that. They're playing atrociously right now, and Flamengo, like they're always this team that they get a slow start to the season and they start to pick things up in the second half, probably because they're always involved in these competitions. But at the same time, like you're not playing well right now. And I don't think they're just going to come in and steamroll Tolima on the road like that. I think Tolima will put up a fight. And I could see this drawing out again, that situation where maybe Tolima scores an early goal and Flamengo just settles for a draw and wants to go win it at home in the second leg. So I definitely think there's some value on Tolima here for sure.
Yeah, I agree there. The plus 0.5 is minus 124. So, and then obviously the money line at plus 275. So that's definitely worth looking at. All right.
Yeah, and if you look at Flamengo, like their last 4 road games here, all losses. And look at this: 2-1 in a cup to Atletico Mineiro, 2-0 to Atletico Mineiro in just the league. Then they picked up a 1-0 loss to Bragantino, who got kicked out of the Libertadores, like literally just 4th place finish, not even Sudamericana, just GTFO.
Yeah,
So,
what was that all? I remember they made it in or something, but what happened?
Bragantino, they finished 4th in their group, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they just that's what I mean is like they lost to the league. They lost in the league 1-0 to and Bragantino had a red card in that match.
Yeah, yep.
Red card came in the 70th minute, so they already had the 1-0 lead, but they still defended after Flamengo made all these subs in that match. So yeah, Flamengo, like, and not only have they lost their last 3 on the road, but they've or their last 4 on the road, they've scored 2 goals in those 4 matches.
Yeah, that scares me a little bit.
Yeah, like I don't think they're playing in good form. This Tolima team has won 3 of their last 4. They've won their last 3 at home, all with low score, 1-0, 1-0, 2-1, and then even a 0-0 draw. So they're playing great defense, and that's what I think is they're going to do is they're going to play defense in this game, and then Flamengo is going to struggle to score like they have been on the road.
Did you have any plays on the MLS on Wednesday night?
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know if I got hit with the idiot stick and I'm not seeing something here, but I don't know how the hell Philadelphia is a plus 200 over the Chicago Fire. Like that baffles my mind, especially watching that game against New York City FC. Like I thought New York City FC didn't really come to play until the last 20 minutes of that match. So, and Chicago Fire, they are awful. Like the Fire, they're literally the worst team in the league. They're down here at the very bottom of the table. They've lost 6 of their last 8, only 1 win in that span. And that 1 win came to DC United, the team that's literally tied with them at the bottom of the table for 14 points. And they won 1-0 at home. Like this team is trash. They didn't score any goals in their last match. I don't know what I'm not seeing here. Maybe Philadelphia doesn't win the game, but I definitely think there's value on them at plus the half. I think they could win or tie in this match.
Yeah, I mean, you see it, yeah, plus 0.25 is minus 127. I mean, they're a pretty good team here. I don't, they're 3rd place in the league. I would take a shot. I mean, it's almost like I've been, with Kaepernick. I mean, he loves this Austin FC, and Austin is playing. I believe they're playing Thursday, so we'll talk about them Thursday night. But same thing, they're plus 235 on the road again against Charlotte. Every time they're plus 2 something on the road, they win the game. It's crazy, and the MLS lines to me are so crazy sometimes because these teams you're never Chelsea's never going to be plus 200 playing at like Norwich. There's just no way it's not going to happen. And Liverpool's never going to be like plus one, anything playing against, Fulham. It's just not going to happen. They're going to be like, it doesn't matter if it's on the road. They're going to be like minus 400. So like, it's just really weird to me sometimes, these lines. I mean, the NYCFC line against Cincinnati a little bit, just the way they kind of lost there. I figure they'll probably have a little bit of a reaction, but same thing, like NYCFC's, they're in 5th place right now. They're the plus 14 goal difference that, to get them at minus 107. I think there's some pretty good value in some of these games on Wednesday.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, the Philadelphia, we've given out the plus 200 on the Nashville. We're taking another shot with Philadelphia on the road here because that Chicago is just so bad. I get they're still plus money, Chicago, but they should not be favored in any respect at all. I don't know what the books are thinking. Maybe somebody broke their leg at the end of that New York City FC match. I didn't see anything, but
maybe 10 players.
like that's what I mean. Like when I saw the line, it baffled my mind. I spent 30 minutes just trying to figure out why the line was like that. But I don't know. I would take the chance with Philadelphia. I think Chicago is just a dumpster fire.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. I like that game a lot. And
like this, another game I think there's value in is the Seattle Sounders. I think you can get their over 1.5 team total at minus 110. So basically the same line they are. And you know what? I'm not buying into this Montreal team. And I just found out today they're not the Montreal Impact anymore. They changed to CF Montreal last year. Like, I don't know what that was about.
Montreal. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just Club de Foot now. Club de Foot Montreal. That's all they are. They're not even the Impact. They even changed their logo. So I don't know. I don't know what this Montreal team is, but I'm not buying into it. So if you look at their last few matches, they've lost 2 of their last 3. They have 4 losses in their last 7. They do have 3 wins. They're not playing terribly, but then look at their matches. They've played 5 of their last 6 at home, and their 1 away match in that span was a 4-0 loss in Toronto, which isn't even really a travel. That's like an 8-hour drive. So I gotta say, like, I think, and if you look at Seattle, so Seattle did exactly what we expected them to do, coming off that 1-1 draw to LAFC. We said we chalked that one up to LAFC is the best team in the league still. They were going to come to play, and look at that. 3 of their last 4 won at home. They won on the weekend 3-0 against Kansas City. They're scoring goals. Look at their last couple home matches. If you take that LAFC out, 3-0, 4-0, 2-1. So I think they got to score in this game.
Yeah, I think, I agree with that. The full time, you get minus 110, minus 115 on over. 1.5 goals. Any other plays there in those late games?
I mean,
I don't love I think you're starting to get, LAFC's minus 141. That line's kind of jumped up here in the last, since I looked at it this morning. I mean, it's probably going to be closer to minus 160 by the time the game goes off, which doesn't really offer me too much value.
And I understand because, like, Dallas, they started so good, and they've always been a decent team at home anyway. But, like, their last couple, I know they're on the road here, but their last couple, like, three losses in their last 5. It's just, there's your Austin FC 2-2, another big plus 200 draw there probably.
Yep.
But like, look at this, lost to Vancouver at home 2-0, lost to Vancouver on the road 2-1, lost to Minnesota 2-1. This Minnesota team is not what it used to be. It is.
Yeah, they're not very good. Yes,
yeah.
I know they're way down they're 22nd in the table.
And even with the Galaxy, like, I would lean, I know the Galaxy haven't been performing well, but I would probably lean maybe even to the under in that game just because Minnesota's been bad. Well, maybe not lean to the under. But the Galaxy, like, I know they're not scoring goals. See, that's what worries me about that game is they've been okay at home, but they're not scoring goals. Minnesota's giving up a lot of goals. That's really what it is there.
Yes.
So it's an interesting play. I thought the total was interesting in that one just because, like, do you want to take the over because Minnesota is allowing a lot of goals and you got, LA, the Galaxy at home, or do you take a shot on the under because, the Galaxy don't really score. They win games with their defense, and Minnesota is just so bad. They're probably not going to score on the Galaxy in this game. But then again, who knows at this point? I think that they'll probably give up some goals. Maybe the team total over in the Galaxy, actually, now that I talk about it more. Just like that Sao Paulo game. But yeah, now that I see, like, even minus 150 for the over 1.5, there's no value in that.
Yeah, that's
at all.
Yeah, it's not really worth it. That's right. All right. So do you have any Bill wants to know if you got any tennis plays.
I actually didn't look at the tennis card today specifically. I'm more into the clay circuit and the hard court just because the grass I find is weird. A lot of players don't play well on grass. I tend to lean towards British players when playing on grass just because they grow up playing on it. But at the same time, like, it's really tough. The grass is a completely different surface, and it's a lot easier with the clay and the hard court, because the clay really, there's a lot of players that perform better on clay, because if you look at their upbringing, like these Italians, these Spanish, these South Americans, they're all playing on clay growing up. So they're made to play on that surface. And one thing I found was interesting is John McEnroe was talking about how the clay actually hurts Daniil Medvedev. It hurts him to play on it. So that's something that with the slide, we saw Zverev snap his ankle off against Nadal. Yeah. He was going to beat Nadal in that match too. I felt so bad for him because he was going to win for sure. I know he lost the first set, but guy was on fire. There was no way Nadal was going to keep up in the extended match. And just to watch him just literally snap his ankle, basically, it's disappointing. So I don't have any plays. Maybe I'll come with some for the Thursday game as we whittle. These first rounds are always hard too, because a lot of the good players are like minus 1,600. Like Djokovic probably like minus 50,000 right now. So
it's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So it's basically the show. I want to make sure you're jumping on the Caesar Sportsbook promotion. New users wager up to $1,500 for your first bet, and you get it back if you lose. Up to $1,500. Use promo code Video Winners 15. Bill says he's on the Yankees and Dodgers unders tonight.
The Dodgers playing the Rockies and the Yankees are playing the. Who are the Yankees playing? Oh, the Athletics. That's right. Because Blackburn is pitching.
Yeah, you know what? I that's one of the Yankees. Their pitchers, it's a pretty decent pitching. It's under 8.5, and then the Dodgers is under 11.5. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, because that's in Coors Field. That's
so ridiculous, man.
It's because the Coors Field. It's so big. Like anything is a base hit there. 2-0 game is basically tied at that point.
Any ball you hit is a home run. It's crazy. But that's a tough field to play.
All I will say is if you bet the Yankees blindly every single game, paying the minus 250 or whatever the price, minus 300, you'd be up 20 units this year.
Yeah, they're like it's crazy. And then every once in a while, the last few series against the Rays and Blue Jays, you're getting them, around even money, and they're probably 7 or 8-3 in those games. So, man, the whole thing about the Yankees is none of this stuff matters. They got to win the World Series. So
and they struggled with Houston over the weekend. So
they got no hit. Yeah,
they could have easily lost all 4 games, because in the first game they hit a 3-run home run to tie it in like the 8th or the 9th, and then won it in extra innings. And the same thing happened on the Sunday?
Yeah, last night.
Down 3-0 and another 3-run home run. And then they even cleared the run line with a 3-run home run in the 10th.
Yeah, that's why that's the one thing I do like about soccer. If your bet is your bet and the it's extra time doesn't count. You know, it helps, it hurts, whatever, but you know, at least it's fair. I mean, you know, you go these goes to extra innings, you got the under. I mean, you're done. You got, you know, they're both going to score. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so make sure you're tuning in tomorrow, 4 to 5, and we'll see AM Plus Money on Thursday. He's going to talk more Copa Libertadores. There's one or two. I think there's one Copa Libertadores match on Thursday, and there's a bunch of MLS games. So we'll have, and maybe some tennis. So we'll have a bunch of stuff to talk about. So make sure you tune in tomorrow and then every day, and then make sure you're checking out all the free picks and on Winners and Winers and Max Wagers Network everywhere. So thanks for joining in. See you tomorrow.